Roy Terry.
We not do that really well. I'm sitting there looking around like, who is he talking to? This sounds amazing. I'm just Roy Terry. I'm a member of this amazing Toastmaster Club, and I'm delighted and honored to help these events happen and help people get a grip and get some traction with the pitch, because if you need that internal traction so that other people can start to take you seriously. So as he said, we do this every month, and this is one of our full session pitch practices. I think we have 6 people lined up, and 1 or 2 others have said just today that they want to practice. The format is really simple. It's 2 minutes with no media, so it's just you. And then you get feedback from me and from all these amazing, smart, motivated, clever people who are probably trying to solve some of the same problems you're trying to solve. So we're going to start that in a second. However, I'd just like to check in with folks and people who have burning questions about the pitch, or do you want to try it, or have you tried it? You still have some hope, or you wouldn't be here. So what's it been like to pitch for anybody recently? Sir, Brian.
What was the question again?
What's it been like?
I thought you raised your hand.
So this is what's it been like to pitch?
Oh, I never did it before.
Yeah? Are you messing with me?
Heckler.
You're going to get to see some stuff. Will.
Scary as hell.
Scary as hell? Oh, we got up your game, pal. I know some scary stuff. Just kidding. Yes?
It's great to get some feedback so that you know exactly what you're doing and what's not working for you.
Yeah, I agree. And I also need feedback, so I'll be open to plenty of feedback after the meeting. And don't embarrass me right here. Thank you, Bud. And, you know, we do this pretty regularly, and so we like to spice it up and add variety. And we happen to have a veteran serial entrepreneur here who's a good friend of this club. Maybe we'll even get him to join. His name's Steve Frisch.
Yeah, good.
Steve, yeah, you know his smiling face. So Steve, I have a long bio, and I won't read the whole thing, but what I can share is that Steve is a serial entrepreneur. I think the count is 6. That's
6
true?
companies founded on the board
Yeah.
of 12,
And
you can take it from there.
And I also realize he's older than he looks, which feels good to me.
Thank
But he
you.
has a lot of experience, and he's a very clever guy. He was, among other things, he taught psychology at Columbia. And you must have had some computer science is in there. So he's very clever, and he's done some work back in pioneering days. So I see here references to high-speed trading on the internet, or high-frequency trading.
High
call
frequency
it.
trading and high speed trading on the internet, both.
So, you know, in those days it must have been easy to start up. You know, the world was fresh and there were opportunities everywhere. It was all green fields.
Oh yes, absolutely. There was
So-
no burden whatsoever.
So in fact, he said 20 years as a serial entrepreneur, and I'm going to get him up here. Come on up here right now, actually.
I've got a chair. I've got a red chair. All things digital.
Look, if you stand up, then people won't know who's in charge. So now that you're
Okay.
sitting, we know you're in charge.
Fair enough. I'm going with this.
So I want to ask Steve a couple questions, and we're going to roll with this pitch practice. And Steve is going to be the business model guru, the kind of the nuts and bolts person, and we're going to ping it back and forth.
I'm the one that is going to say, can you make money with it? Roy is going to try and help with how you say it so people know
I'm
what
going
the
to
heck
say, can
you're
I
doing.
understand it? And he's going to say, can you make money?
Yeah.
So you've come back to Silicon Valley, or maybe for the first time in Silicon Valley, you've been here about 3 or 4 weeks?
5 weeks now, and first time intensively in the Valley for about 12 years.
Right, so it's been a while. What have you
Yeah.
noticed has changed?
It actually has gone back to almost 1999. And by that I mean it's a frenzy of folks. It's much more congested than it was, for example, in 2002. And that's the one side that I see dramatically change. The other side is we've gone into an app frenzy, where there are remarkable numbers of startups that are fixated purely on the mobile space. And that's a very significant transformation from what you would have seen 10 or 15 years
Which leads
ago.
me to my next question.
Fair enough.
What do you think, so in this, what we think may be frenzy or froth or irrational exuberance for
Okay,
startups, also
yes.
called a bubble,
Oftentimes, yes.
if someone truly believes they have an idea with strong merit, they want to go ahead, even in this time of all the frenzy. What are some mistakes they might be making, and what should they do?
Not pitching right. Genuinely, there's a gateway function, there's a single gateway function to getting your business off the ground, or getting traction, or getting an acquisition, and that is the clarity and persuasiveness of your pitch. And your pitch effectively becomes a prototype for everything you're going to do, because it's the clarity that you have in your heart that lets you express it to others meaningfully. So everything revolves around the pitch. If you screw that up, you're stuck.
Wow, it's just, I'll buy you an even better lunch than I was.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
So by the way, his exits total about 780 million.
Thank you for aggrandizing. I'm at 688.
Oh.
688 million used to be a lot. Now in this unicorn phase, it's trivial, sad to say.
Can you share some that you don't really care? Can I have some?
Sure. No problem.
All right, so he's our nuts and bolts guy. He's a business model guy, and obviously entertaining quips as well.
Thank you.
I will be addressing more of the direct communication and can we understand it and the structure. Yes, sir?
Yeah, I have a question.
Please.
It seems like there's a kind of a working set of words that VCs like to hear. For example, the term MVP kind of evolved in the last couple of years. It used to be called a beta or a preliminary product. And so I'd be interested in finding out what are the current buzzwords that one should use.
I have customers, they're paying. It's called traction, that's kind of what people say. But really,
paying customers and revenue, profitability, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that's extreme.
But you're right, buzzwords are there. And it's more than a buzzword, I think, with MVP. MVP refers to a philosophy and a strategy for how to
But they
get
want to hear
market
this
fit.
stuff. They, in the pitch, they want to hear that term. If you use alpha release or beta release.
Oh, you
they're
could
not
sound
gonna-
dated. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, everybody here is super cool and up to date, so just
Okay.
use
that's
their
what I
buzzwords.
thought.
Thank you.
And really, the key words mean less than you may think. You shock a lot of VCs if you simply have a business. So if you can describe something for which they can understand why they might want it, and you can describe it in such a way that they understand that you can implement it, and better yet, you can describe 5 or 6 customers. Even if you say alpha or beta, they're going to love you.
Well done.
Love is what we need. That's good.
Love.
Yeah, that's all
So-
we need.
So I have been asked at different points by different people to sketch out what I think is the structure of the pitch. Because we've taken the time with Steve and we've sort of got everybody warmed up, I don't think I'm going to do that because you don't have time to change it now. If you signed up early, you probably got an email. If you're in this club, you got an email suggesting the structure. But the one thing I will highlight that relates to what he said, which is if you have something notable about you've released a product or you have some traction or you have some deals or you're going to co-promote or anything that's where you can do name dropping or including, my technical guy is a PhD from Stanford or whatever. It's called a headline. We'd love to hear that first. So maybe you can mentally reshuffle. If you're thinking about being modest, get rid of that. Very well. So I had a list of 6 folks in the club who notified me earlier that they wanted to pitch, and the list is in my phone, but you know who you are. So I'm looking around to see who among those wants to go. Did you send me a name? Okay, so you're brand new.
Yeah, I just signed up.
Sweet, welcome. Come on up.
Yeah.
Your name is
Iman?
Iman? So if you recall, it's going to be 2 minutes. We have a timer lady right here.
Yes.
So when you have 10 seconds left, she's going to put the red card up.
Sure.
Are you going to read from your phone?
Well, I have it as a backup.
So
Sorry,
try
this
to
is-
avoid it. It's the most discouraging mannerism of all. But do it. I mean, do what you need to do.
Yeah, I
We're
have
going to
to,
get through
yeah.
this. So when it gets actually read at 2 minutes, she's going to kind of do a little wiggle thing.
Sure.
And then I'll come over and shake her hand.
Okay.
So what's the name of your...
Can I start? You wanna?
Okay.
The pitch
I was
is not
trying
exactly
to give you
for-
a boost.
Giving you an intro, take it.
Here's the no-name enterprise. Let's go.
I see. Okay. All right. Next time maybe I will listen to that. So hello all. I'm Hemant Kanekal. I'm a systems engineer in the IoT Internet of Things space. Yesterday, my Internet of Things connected fire alarm went off, and immediately Amazon pitched me fire extinguisher and a coupon a coupon for a hotel in case my house burned down. So, Internet of Things is a lot of connectivity and online services provided by companies such as Google, IBM, and Amazon. The thing that the end user will get out of this is an enhancement of their daily routine, in exchange, they will have to give up some of their privacy. All that remains to be seen is what will they get in exchange for this access. So services are provided by personal assistants, which will either learn autonomously on what are your preferences for which you have given explicit permission. I envision that there will be a number of competitors and service providers in the market. However, this is an emerging market and the field is still wide open. My solution is to provide a personal assistant with a service and make revenue on the software as services. My solution is aimed at general consumer markets. Again, my name is Hemant Kanekal. My company's name is Ameritronic. If you're interested in being part of this exciting company, I would like you to reach out to me. Thank you.
Revival, all right. Your first requirement of a pitch. Well
Yes.
done.
I'll stand for this one.
Okay.
I don't know what you're doing.
Yes.
This is a problem. It's fine to give a bit of an introduction to what the IoT is, but everyone sort of knows what that buzzword is. The important thing is you have to tell me very rapidly what it is that you are doing,
Okay.
concretely, so that I might get interested in it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it feels like a lecture and there is no business behind it.
Mhm.
You're going to provide something that may be a personal assistant, but what is it? Think about it. If you were going to say, let's say it's 2006 and you were going to come out with a new phone. I'm going to come out with a new phone. That's not an iPhone.
That's right.
If you were going to come out with Nest, I'm going to come out with a thermostat. How does that help anyone appreciate what you're doing? So make it concrete and make it a understandable business.
Okay.
Now Roy is going to be the Grinch.
Yeah, ordinarily I would call on you, but thanks so much.
I had to dig in
Put a
first.
chair for you.
Okay, I'll sit
So
back
this is the
down.
case, so actually, so the business model maven doesn't have much to talk about in the realm of nuts and bolts because there's nothing to go on. Except that you want to do SaaS.
Right.
So that was coherent. You want to do software as a service, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. What I noticed is you used the word this about 4 or 5 times, referring to some mystery that you know about, but we don't.
Okay.
So this is cold water on purpose to tell you that you need to craft some really clear overview of what are you producing for whom to solve what problem, and why is it better.
Yeah.
So these are the hallmarks of a good pitch, or at least a pitch that can work. Feedback for our new member, yes, sir.
There's a metric in Toastmasters called the counter. I think I counted 4 when I started. But, probably when you do your rehearsal, you probably have to try to keep those out.
Right, yeah. Thank you.
So I respect this comment, however, I don't think that was anywhere near the top of your challenges.
Okay.
It was being a coherent picture of in the marketplace landscape that we can all recognize where do you fit, and why.
What are you? That's the
So,
ultimate question.
Let's get some more feedback from all
Okay,
these
cool.
clever folks out here.
All right,
Just a
thank
couple more comments for this gentleman. You're glazing over already. We have 5, 6 more to go. Yes.
I think I agree with the gentleman over there. I think the key thing is to present the core value proposition and how we differentiate with others. So I think to get the traction. So I'm part of the corporate VC, so that's one thing that we actively look into in terms of it's not about getting a lecture, as you say. It's more of what you do and what's the core value proposition that you're trying to build.
Okay, so I have one item on that. So yes, I can tell what I'm trying to do, but I don't want to give away the family jewels. So to speak. So-
Hey,
You
so
know,
this
the
is
truth-
really, you don't have any
There
family
is
jewels.
nothing.
Not yet.
People
Not yet.
think, people
Well,
think all
that's
the
because
time.
I didn't say I have. I may have.
Guys, this may be
That's a different.
Oh,
thing.
see, you gotta
This is the
watch out.
simplest thing in entrepreneurialism. The idea isn't the value, it's your ability to execute. You can literally stand up with the best business concept in the world and give it to 10,000 people in Silicon Valley, you're safe.
Okay.
It's execution.
Mhm.
And if you're not willing to share your concept in a compelling way, you'll never get a chance to execute anyway.
Oh, okay.
So
Don't
here's a
worry,
way-
no
there
one's
is-
gonna
there is
steal
a way
anything from
around
you,
this.
Really.
So you don't
prefer
have to
standing.
say, we have a machine that does this incredible transformation of turning ice into electricity,
Right.
and has this little module which can be produced at a practical cost, and it has long living, and it has certain patented techniques of molecular rearrangement and so on, and we can, and behind closed doors, we can explain it. And you don't say how it works. But you say there's something there that we can at least start to conceptualize and maybe start to believe in. But leaving it blank, just saying I can turn ice into electricity isn't going to work. You got to give us something to go on.
It's not going to be stolen. Don't worry.
And
That's
that-
not your problem. Really, it's not. This is not your problem.
Okay.
Thank you for your bravery, for coming up first, and for taking it on. People are gutsy. I would hate to do what he too tough. However, you also epitomize some of the challenges of pitching because we have this internal idea that we feel inspired about and we're motivated to move on, but it is a completely separate process to put that into a form that other people can look at it and decide to sign on. So that's why we're practicing. Who's next? Yay, Manu. Welcome. Would you like me to announce you?
Yeah.
Enterprise is
Samvadi. Samvadi.
Samwazi. Close enough.
Yeah.
Here she goes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Manu Pandey. I'm co-founder of Samvadi, a software startup building cloud-based communication service for local businesses. Now, local businesses, they get most of their high-value business on phone. But almost 40% of those calls are spam. And oftentimes they're spending their time on those spam calls while their high-value calls are unanswered. The solution that we are providing is that our service is going to answer all their calls and convert those calls into the actionable items. And then the business owners, they can use our app to act on those actionable items. And for example, we can convert a call into an order, and then the business owner can act on that order, or for example, confirm the order. So business owners are getting the clear view of the actionable item versus rest of the calls. And in essence, it's the local business as usual, just more productive, more efficient, and still personal. Currently, our focus is the restaurant vertical, especially non-franchisee restaurant. And as per our primary research, these business owners wear multiple hats, and they're really stretched for time. And that makes our solution perfect for them. Now, the service is subscription-based, pay-as-you-go model with the call volume-based tiers. We are in beta for a few months now at multiple places, around 8 places. And we are answering all their calls, creating the actionable items for them, and these business owners spending their valuable time only on those items which are valuable for the businesses. We are very excited about the feedback that we are getting from these businesses, and we are looking forward for our GA release and grow our business.
Like it. Take it easy. We're going to do something first.
You got me this red chair.
Yeah, that always happens. Whenever you're done with a speech and roll, you want to run to your
Someone came to me with a question, so I didn't hear the first part of this of what you said. So I'm going to ask the audience because they should know the answer.
Okay.
In an overview, what does her enterprise do? Who can report?
Communication platform for local businesses.
Cloud-based.
More specific.
Cloud-based.
More specific.
Screen spam calls.
What problem does she solve?
Filtering. Actionable item.
Convert the calls into-
You guys use sentences if you can. What problem does she solve? Yes, sir.
Her business sorts the most actionable and valuable items for business owners in the local area.
And that's cool, and that's valuable because
Saves your time.
saves time. Lovely. So that's good. We're now getting a fundamental. So good. Thank you. I'm glad they picked that up. Well done.
Thank you so much.
So I'm sorry, I was distracted. I didn't hear that. And so you have a solution that's based on machine learning. You're going to understand phone calls.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can understand the phone calls, we can answer those calls on behalf of the businesses, do their business actually, take their orders and things like that, give it to the business owners so they know, okay, these are the useful items, these are rest of the items, and there are some of the things we can
So
handle
what we
now.
like is, so that's, thank you, clear. Well, I think what we'd like is some backup evidence or reports of your testing results. So you said enthusiastic and the businesses are using it. Something that's at least somewhat quantifiable about how much benefit it has versus its error rate versus the competition.
Okay.
You talked about that, just try it for 10 seconds. What would you say?
So it's so 3 months we are running. The first place we started beta is almost 3 months, and we are not at the stage yet to discuss with the business owner how much concrete, the exact benefit they are getting. But we have some idea. So.
So it's curious to me that in 3 months you haven't been able to have a conversation like that. So something recent.
So exactly. So we took as the 3 months as the time they will be looking at the benefit to the business, or we'll have enough data. So that time yet to come. Probably in the next pitch, I will be having the data and can have the concrete answer.
So do we take this seriously? It seems like it might be a real deal. You might want to be involved with. Yes.
Maybe you want to talk about the number of calls that has been attended. So if you're saying a restaurant, a typical restaurant, the software was able to take this call. This would give some idea about what quantum you're talking about.
Right.
So even a small restaurant is taking say 100 calls or maybe 15 calls.
Right.
So that gives some idea that okay, what kind of business? Because you said that it is pay as you use.
Right.
That means I'm curious to know that if there are like 1,000 restaurants in Bay Area or there are X number of restaurants in there, you're going to address this number of calls. So that will be giving
So we
some
want to
kind of
know, so
quantified data.
the big idea that differentiable, that has high growth potential. So naturally, helping businesses process calls, if you can
Right.
even get 10% more effective on that, that's a huge amount of value.
Right.
So
So our first beta customer, I can give you that number.
So
it's around
it-
50 calls
Okay.
every day we handle for them.
Very
It's a
nice.
very small business, so we can have that number.
So it turns out Steve and I interviewed an entrepreneur from Founders Institute who was somewhat in your space. Please
But there
give her
was-
some constructive feedback.
Okay, fair enough. There's a first issue I see. I know that you want to do call filtering, but I don't know how you're doing it. I don't know if you've got humans or computers. I don't know what your cost of delivery is compared to the cost of the restaurant, for example, delivering. If you have a machine answering the phone, I know you've got a tremendous technical burden. So I'd be really concerned about what type of AI and NLP you have behind it. If you have humans answering, I'd be really concerned about how you're going to operate more efficiently than a restaurant. And I'd want to see how in the world you're going to get restaurants at scale to want to lose their touch with customers. And the phone is their touch with customers. Thus, the problem I see is I don't know what your business is. I don't know what the economic opportunity might be. And I don't know what the cost of attaching to that economic opportunity is.
We only gave her 2 minutes, be fair.
This is true, but I would like the
No,
following.
it's a very valuable.
For example, I'd like to see something like we fundamentally resolve the issue of having computers automate the telephone interaction for small restaurants. And as a result, we can effectively reduce by 35% the cost of fulfilling orders. We're in beta with 8 customers and have positive feedback leading to this type of order pipeline. Then there's something substantive, and I know what you do, and it takes 10
Can I
seconds.
highlight what he just said? So he epitomized what is a good overview. He took on the whole picture from literally the size of the globe of Earth, and what are we doing globally against all the other alternatives, and how big could it potentially be, and how effective, what's our current evidence? Thank you. I
My
wish I
pleasure.
well, I do have that on recording.
A great we're recording. Wow.
Yeah.
A great pitch is really about 15 to 30 seconds. You don't need 2 minutes. The old elevator pitch is true. The shorter the pitch, usually the better. All you want to do in the pitch is get people interested enough to ask you questions. You want to induce them to start selling you.
You're taking all our best lines.
Oh, crap, sorry. You should have reminded me. It's your fault.
We're like the Smarter Brothers, my apologies. It's just a
I'm
thing.
old. I've been doing it a long time.
So I think you did really well. You mentioned servant. I heard the word servant.
Service, actually.
Service. Okay, so I think you would benefit and get you be able to say more more meaningful content quicker to be really specific. If there's an automated software answering the phone, say the the automated assistant or
It
the
is
computer.
automated?
Say it again?
Is it really automated?
It is really good.
Interesting.
I picked that up.
I wasn't sure because it's a problem
having the
that
senior
many
moment.
people have tried and they haven't been able to solve. So you'd have to show a demo or a lot of people would be
Yes.
suspect.
So that's the other thing is, you're in the field, so you fielded a product that's actually in use.
It is
That's
in
we'd love to
use
hear
at
that sooner.
places, exactly first customer we started with, it's 3 months almost.
How we evaluate the rest of what you say really can be affected strongly by knowing that you're not just sharing an idea, that you put the work on the ground and you have pilots.
Yes.
That'd be super. Say that sooner if you can.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for the
Try to go for 2 plus 3 or 4, and I think we've gone a little longer, but partly because we have the benefit of Steve today. Let's see, so we've gone 2.
Yeah.
We have 5 more from the club who are interested, I believe, but they're all here. I think we're going to make it fine because we got 45 minutes.
Is it possible to add on?
Yeah.
It is possible to add on, but I'd like to
no.
get the first people up, but absolutely. So who else sent me an email? Did you send me an email? Okay. Come on up. Are you a member?
Yes.
This is so embarrassing. We're growing so fast. Please come up, and I apologize.
I'm Victoria.
Hi, Victoria.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Victoria. I do remember your email now.
So
Yeah, you've got an enterprise? What's it called?
it's in finance industry.
Okay, it's in
information
finance.
industry.
And Victoria, you can, yes?
So I kind of did it wrong because I didn't realize that's how you pitch, and I was just going to do a general introduction of
Well, you can go
myself.
with that. So let's not have more stress than you need, because it's already, look at these people, it's very stressful.
I haven't
Do what
spoken
you
in
feel
public for
comfortable
10
about.
years, so I'm like
It's not,
really-
it's okay.
Anything you want. Or you can just speak about your business from the heart or speak about yourself.
And what we will do, we'll listen to that, and we'll help mold it and offer you suggestions to make it stronger. That's all we're gonna do.
Okay. Probably. I was reading it like 3 times today, and
You're
every
going.
time I read, I still made mistakes. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna bring this
Do it.
instead. Okay. Hi, my name is Victoria Brasha. I was a fashion designer for 15 years, and now I'm in financial services. 8 months ago, I came upon a financial strategy that revolutionized our traditional ways of thinking savings, investment, protections, and retirement. For the next 2 months, I did extensive research and study. Finally, a wash-up moment, I finally found my true calling. I want to spread my knowledge to all hardworking American families. Teach them how to protect themselves and their loved ones and enjoying a worry-free tax retirement. Knowledge is power, and I want to educate and empower all of us, help them to realize our dream, help to realize our dreams and enjoying our lives.
Sweet. So we're not doing business model.
Apparently not, but I'll sit in the right
So
chair.
I think what we got is an intro to something bigger. And I also think what we got is not about an investment style pitch. This is a customer pitch. Agreed? And so what we want to do is to be supportive of what she's got here, which is pretty strong. I was thinking, would you consider being Bernie's running mate? We like that. We like what we heard. We like those sentiments. And where did you want to go with that? How would you want to develop that further?
So to have people interested what I can offer them, and then also this is the pitch, right? So to really actually host
Somewhat of a pitch, yeah.
seminar. So actually I had the other part I didn't read, basically saying that I want to learn and practice. I was born in China, and I came here when I was 21. So as all native speaker, we get nervous.
Okay, so you can
English.
probably not do all that.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
that's-
novel in this part of the world.
So I haven't spoken in public, but also I say I want to learn and practice to speak in front of large groups with confidence, so I can convey my messages effortlessly.
Okay, so this is you're
And
blending
effectively.
you're blending different audiences and different goals.
Right.
So
So
that
why
last part
I cut it off.
welcome to me. I want to be a Toastmaster too.
Yeah.
So you said something though that needs to be flagged or marked for more attention, because what you said at some point, which is probably the most assertive thing, So you've found something that revolutionizes how personal finance can be done.
Yes.
That's extremely large statement because millions of people are trying to figure out how to do that. And many thousands of people have already claimed that they've revolutionized it. So if you choose to make that kind of strong claim, you're well advised to have some strong arguments to back it up. They don't have to be lengthy or super detailed, but we have to have something.
I do have that.
Good, good. And I'm not asking you to do that now,
Okay.
but I just want to make sure you heard that. If you aren't able to back that up, then you lose credibility and you might lose your chance. So be careful. Feedback for Victoria. It's a pretty brave thing she did. Yes?
I actually left that she got a little emotional in the middle. That showed like passion towards like
Yeah.
really solving that problem about, you know, people realizing their dreams.
Yeah, and
Really
it's,
nice.
you know, taking care of your family and
Yeah.
all of that security is, yeah, and it's good to have that emotion. Absolutely. Yeah.
She started out very clearly. I can hear, I'm in financial services, I have this to offer to build people's dreams. It's just a question of now how.
Right.
But it was a great start.
Yeah, you really had nice presence
Thank you.
with
So
this.
the purpose is to bring people like interested for me to host a seminar or talk to them.
Right, you want them to ask
Yeah.
to learn more.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you had clear conviction and passion helped tremendously. But if you want to reduce the nervousness associated with being in front of a lot of eyes,
Yeah.
often just get rid of the paper.
Okay.
The paper can hurt you. It seems like a safety, but it doesn't work that way. And I think when you don't look at the paper, you're confident and relaxed. As soon as you go to the paper, it messes up your rhythm.
Thank
Trust
you.
in yourself.
Okay.
Kelly?
I like that you shared that it was kind of a personal story, that I was a fashion designer for X number of years, and then I realized this way of doing financial services that helped me as a person. Like, so that was very powerful. I don't know, the fashion designer thing kind of threw me at the beginning though. So is she going to pitch a fashion design thing, or is it a financial services? So I don't know, maybe you can be creative with how you do
Yeah,
that.
I think I would tag on slightly. She could have a transition, so she could refer if it's in fact true or even plausible. You know, you had this career in fashion design, you know, which was cool. It was fun. It was dramas, whatever you want to say about it. And then, but during all that time, I never really felt secure, or that I'm confident that I was, you know, securing my future financially. So that is a transition. Then it makes the next statement more relevant. Martin.
Along with what you said, see it, feel it, trust it. You're standing up there, you're new with Toastmasters. I applaud your courage and your courageous vulnerability.
Yeah. I don't know what you guys think. I just feel really honored and privileged to be in this kind of environment. It's really serious learning about business and, you know, some hardcore feedback, but it's also really supportive. So I think what we're doing here is cool, and thank you for helping it happen. Who else signed up? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you're ready? Go.
My name is Taichi Yasuhara, and I'm the co-founder of Cubata. I got 2 words for you: knowledge on demand. The internet is we all know the internet is heading towards convenience, aggregation, disintermediation, and personalization. We see this in commerce, social, and entertainment. One of the biggest problems that everybody face is that in our daily lives is that there's too much information and never enough time. And on the internet, we try to solve this problem by using curated rating sites such as Amazon, Yelp, Consumer Reports, Travelocity. It's basically a shortcut to what you need to know or what service you should choose. Well, the problem with search engine today is that when we search online, nobody knows what's good and what's bad. Search engine is great at finding information that you're familiar with or you have expertise in, but when you're not familiar with a certain topic or you don't have expertise, it's very difficult evaluating the quality of content. So we seek, at Curata, we seek to solve this problem by creating the world's big knowledge, best knowledge, by aggregating and curating content relating to quality of life. Topics such as health, personal finance, education, children, legal information, things that really matter to people. So we solve this problem by creating this database, and we overlay these ratings on top of search results so that people know what's good and what's bad. And currently we're in the, we've created we finished the prototype, and we're looking for funding to expand this database. Thank you.
Okay.
Are you trying to say that you're the world's first search engine for credibility?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a really interesting play. I like that one.
It's an interesting play. It is, Google is famous for winning the search engine wars because they included credibility and authority in their search algorithm by looking at reference sites.
Yeah, backrub. The original backrub. But what I thought was fascinating about your approach, if I'm correct, is you're taking this concept that people know how to search the web perfectly well, but they don't know how to validate the content coming back.
Yes.
There is no credibility search engine out there,
Yes.
but there's a tremendous demand to validate the information that we're flooded with every day.
Yes.
I think if you start that way, you would get the investor interest. This
Okay.
is, it's the problem everyone can know and figure out afterwards. Attach first to the business and the differential in that business. And it sounds like you've got a substantive differential, an impactful one.
Wow.
Sorry, I had to jump in with the business.
I've never heard
I
you be
like
so
the
generous.
concept.
So you guys get together. It's
The
definitely
business
really
concept
cool.
there is actually very good.
So I'm not as sanguine as my friend Steve about what you presented. I have no idea what the actual value or potential of your product and what you're building is. But what I could offer is that it could be much, much more persuasive, and you also kind of fell into a few traps. So you started off by saying 2 words, and you gave us 3 words.
Well, on
That was
demand.
distracting. To me, it was 3 words.
I hyphenated.
Yeah. But if there's a potential for something like that to happen, you should probably just go around
Okay, I
that.
got 3 words for you.
So my first thing, okay, this guy's in the most highly analytical, AI-driven mass data contest where he thinks he's going to out-Google Google, and he didn't count the words the one that I counted. So is it really, you know, stuff comes down to details sometimes. You also, you did give us a good sort of rounded out of, you know, we're looking on the internet for all kinds of things, it's valuable, we know how to find a lot of things. However, we don't have enough time, but there are curated sites and there are shortcuts. In a sense, I believe you made your competitors sound stronger than you want them to. So we're already getting curated sites, we already have shortcuts to search engines.
Yeah, I guess I didn't make it clear the part about, okay, there's curated sites for product and services, but not for knowledge yet. So that's where
Not for the deep things of life, like personal finance, health,
Yeah, yeah,
relationships.
There are, that's the problem.
There are.
There are plenty. That's why I think if you
Yes,
start
there
at the
are.
opposite end of the equation, you could actually attract an audience. You have to get what the real difference is and spend less time up front explaining what everyone else does.
Okay.
Explain what you do in a way that invalidates what others do.
So, and here's a formula for doing that, is pick 1 or 2 areas, not huge things like, you know, personal growth or relationships or health, but some more specific area where you think your approach kills.
Okay.
And then tell us about that, and how it can, and why probably no one else can do it. So it also suggests, this is just in terms of rhetorical strength, we'll never describe your thing as a database. That is the most mundane, commonplace kind of object that we're not impressed with. I have 5 databases on my phone. So describe it as some kind of knowledge system. I mean, look at how IBM describes Watson. That's what you want to be doing. Would be my suggestion. Feedback. Now that we've already beat them up.
I see a technical issue here. It seems like you're evaluating the returns you get from search engines, right? And ranking them to determine is this valid or authentic. And the issue, the issue is, as I see it, what metrics are you applying to this? How are you coming up with a score, for example?
We have a patented rating system that we developed. Yeah, I guess that's the part I've been.
So yeah, so if you have a patented rating system, once again, this is possible future advice, you could set up a test where you take a panel of experts in a domain and do a blind comparison between what they find versus your system and see what happens. And if you can report positive feedback from that, if you're like 80% as good as the professionals, but you could do it for free, that would be something to think about, right, for investors.
And keep in mind that what you want to do up front is say what you do and then give credibility once people care. So to your point, you want to validate that what you said of relevance is something you can accomplish. You almost have to reverse the pitch from the order that most people do it. You do this credibility engine. There is nothing like this. The reason you can do this is this patented secret sauce you have. The consequence of this is this much more stickiness in the search results. The monetization route to that is the advertisers love the fact that the results are considered credible and thus the advertisements will as well. This allows you to get a 35% premium for link clicks. Then you sort of walk through the story in a way that an investor cares.
This is why we have you, Steve. Thank you.
Ah, yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, please.
Again, I think whether you have done some data analysis of the fact that, say, I mean, as we are saying that if I'm searching for an education institution and there are 10 Googles gives me, say, 10 searches, do you have some kind of data that people will click at 1, 2, 3, 4 and therefore they get confused? So how your metrics is going to solve that problem that, this is the data, same set of data comes from like 10 sources and therefore people get confused. That's your main business domain where you're saying that people are not sure about what they want to read and therefore you're going to quantify. So maybe you want to tell about what is, in a simple data set or simple search, so many people searches and in that they get that, that kind of different specs and then they want to do it.
How can you describe or give us an idea that the user experience will be fundamentally different, higher quality, and preferred? Because in most cases where you display results, it's going to be a list. It's just a tyranny of the sequential nature of choices. So if you can give us an idea of, so there was a thing called Ask Jeeves, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a friendly butler or something. I don't know if you wanted any kind of persona, but that was one approach. Of course, they lost.
Yeah, it didn't end well.
They didn't win. Google
really
won.
Yeah.
An invented word that looks like a child's sketch.
But Google won because their ranking algorithm was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So you're basically making this assertion that you have a better ranking algorithm because you're ranking credibility, I think.
Right, but it's not an algorithm. We hire experts to rate.
Oh, you're curated.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
But that's part of the
I
problem.
think he's doing a blend.
Okay.
He's doing some of each.
Curate is very dangerous because it's exceptionally expensive. So curation is problematic.
A couple bits more feedback from you folks out there. You've been very patient. Tai Chi is serious. What else does he need to know?
I have a comment.
Please.
I loved your presentation. I could follow it. That's something, and because I'm not technologically savvy. So, but I wanted you to shorten the background and get to the meat, as our genius here is saying to you, and as Roy is commenting that we need to have it be very clear. So you could cut all that about all that background, because my eyes were starting to glaze over.
Okay.
Get to the meat.
Yeah.
I think, again, from a big standpoint, I couldn't tell where the company was at, what stage you were at, whether you had customers, whether, where exactly you are in the process. So that would be something useful to cover as well.
He was pitching more the idea, I think, or the validity of the idea, as opposed to this is a real business. So that's a later stage, possibly. Thank you.
Thank you.
I like my chair. I prefer to stand. I have this red chair. I don't like chairs. I try to stand.
All right. Who else signed up? Atul, of course you did. Yes,
Yeah.
please. Come
Hey,
on
Atul.
up. All right. Timer ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Atul Kumar, and here I'm going to present A++ Ventures. What A++ Ventures is, we are a network of entrepreneurs, investors, geeks, doctors, engineers, managers, all these networks. We have pull us together to seed, curate, fund various other entrepreneurs. So for example, a couple of areas we are working on are in healthcare, because that's one of my personal passions. But then some of our partners are more interested in education. So we're also funding and seeding some investments in education. So I don't have a lot of money. Still, how can I be seeding and curating and mentoring all these entrepreneurs? You are my target audience, this SVT, and the whole of, let's say, Silicon Valley and the whole world. Anybody who wants to do an entrepreneurship, what do they need? They need money first. Any business, first you need to have some capital. You also need some market. You also need some management advice into how do you structure a business. For all of these problems, we have some solution. So in our network, we'll also have connection with some high net worth individuals, people like Steve. We hope to have him as a part. We'll have also some of the venture capitalists and some of the investment bankers. I studied from one of the topmost business schools of India, so I have many of my classmates and friends. They are investment bankers and venture capitalists, all of them. So I'm hoping to tap into that network. Similarly, some of my other partners, some of them are doctors, so they will tap into the some of the well-established doctors. Similarly, some of my friends are professors, so they will tap into the professor and all the academic institutions in the world. So using that network, what are you going to do? We are going to solve some of the toughest problems in the world in healthcare, education, and let's say public governance. Who would be our clients? Clients would be people like you, the entrepreneurs, but also government. For example, I'm hoping to meet the mayor's office of San Jose. There are a lot of problems the mayor has. He's also looking for some solutions. We can go and help, assist, and advise him on the solution. One last thing, I already have some traction. A couple of governments in India already my clients.
I'm setting up a venture capital firm with a strong mentoring arm. Our specializations are solving world peace problems or something. It sounds like that's what you're doing. You're setting up some type of VC. And all the other stuff confuses it, in my opinion. Is your intent to set up a VC or an angel network?
You can say angel network is a good way to put it, yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I'd say is, that's great, there are lots of them, that's fine. But I would compress it down and not say I've got these people, those people, the other. I'm setting up an angel network, and I'm looking for participants. Fine, now I understand what you're doing. The next thing is I would try to hit 1 or 3 or 5 real verticals. Say our focus is going to be healthcare and public policy, for example. And I wouldn't talk about solving these sort of entrenched, unsolvable problems. I'd make it very short, very sweet, and have a direct ask in there. We're looking for more mentors, we're looking for more angels, etc. In other words, make it business rather than just a personal expression of stuff.
Okay. Other feedback? Mark.
First of all, compared to last time, thank you for slowing down a little bit. I really appreciate that. I was able to understand you more. Would suggest that you don't name drop as much. Just get to the point. Like Steve?
Yes.
Thank you. That Steve already mentioned. Good job, though. You're getting better and better, and now I'm getting a better idea of what you want. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll second that, because I've seen you speak a few times now. There's a constant improvement, and it's significant at this point. You still have a ways to go, frankly, but the fact that you're progressing rapidly is very encouraging.
He's now our patient. So I think here's the core challenge you have, in my view. You're building something that's not novel, that many people also from around the world are also still trying to build at this time. And I've tried to decode their spiel more than once. And they just say things like, well, we supply everything for everything. We're like water. Whatever you need, we supply it. We just take a little percentage. So we're at a point of, you think of this valley in terms of gold rush, we're at the point of we're just going to run the creek through a sluice and see what tiny, tiny bits of gold come out. And so because that is not novel, what we really would love to hear and would help us enjoy what you're saying is, what angle on it do you have that nobody else has?
Can I maybe...
Can you do it in 5 seconds? 10 seconds.
I have access to those markets where the rest of the world, the Silicon Valley doesn't have. So a couple of parts of India and Africa where the rest of the Silicon Valley...
So it's not about market access, it's about how do you make the machine work better? And how do you really deliver on these promises that you're going to connect the right resources and capital and so on to make successes?
and this is a very connected valley. So that's a scary thing to say. I would do the opposite almost. I would reduce the scope and use specialization as your differentiation. For example, you could say we're setting up an angel network with a remarkable degree of focus on healthcare. And we're staffing it primarily with physicians that are still in the trenches because they understand the hardships of daily practice in a way that lets them tailor their investments to reducing the stresses in everyday practice of medicine. Now it's something constrained and understandable and differentiated. You're 80% network physicians. You're solving your own problems and you're capitalizing those solutions. Makes sense. Once you say we have connections in India, I think of all the VCs that have 3 or 5 or 20 members that are from India. No difference. Except they've got several billion under management and you're trying to find several 100,000 or million. Focus.
So going after big goals, we call it big hairy ambitious goals, that way.
Big hairy audiences.
Yeah, so what the heck. So thanks again for reminding me. We build hopes and dreams here, folks. We don't tear people up. Who's next? That signed up? Yeah, I think, come on in. Okay, we're going to try to accelerate a little bit. And you're going to just announce yourself, okay? Okay.
Oh, what's your name?
Nate. Hi, my name is Nate. I represent Health Markets Insurance Agency, and I find solutions for your financial protection needs. Did you know a 1-week stay in the hospital cost up to $100,000? Did you know the #1 reason for bankruptcies in the United States is healthcare costs? Over 60%. And of those bankruptcies, 80% had health insurance. And I don't really remember what else I was going to say.
You have a solution for this problem.
Now, imagine if you had your own personal resource to customize a benefits package to meet your needs and your budget, to keep you free and clear of bankruptcy, and to put tax-free cash into your pocket in case of a critical illness or a hospitalization. For over 30 years, Health Markets Agency has been helping individuals, families, and small businesses do just that. Backed by Goldman Sachs and the Blackstone Group, Health Markets has been consistently one of the top 2 health insurance agencies in the nation. Now, if you would want to stop wasting your precious time trying to figure out what health insurance you should get or what financial protection you need, and you would much rather focus on your own life, your family, and your own passion projects, then you need me on your team. Thank you.
All right. So, obviously, this is a customer pitch, not an investor pitch. And it's in financial services, specifically health insurance. A lot of strength. I mean, and you get us with the sense of the danger of health costs, and even if you have insurance, you could go bankrupt and all that. So that worked, and you can kind of okay. Where and I'll ask Steve to comment in a second. Where I didn't stay with you is how do you manage to be so much better? And if you've been doing this for 30 years and you're so much better, why aren't you more famous than Geico? And I want to understand, okay, what's in the box? Is there something in the box that does something magic? And if I'm always looking for magic things that other people don't know about, so that's cool. But I didn't hear enough evidence that there was something magic. So in the end, when you started saying 30 years, that just fell right back into I'm reading the yellow pages. So just beware of that big transition you took between we're revolutionizing and we've been doing it for 30 years. Because revolutions don't last that long.
Yeah, you sort of lost me at Goldman Sachs backs us, etc., the 30-year point. It felt like I was being hard-sold. And at least from my temperament, I walk away from anything that feels like a sales pitch. I'd be intrigued if you said, for example, that we've got a way to optimize a selection of health insurance to meet your risk profile better than what others do for the following reasons.
Yeah, something to
and I
think
wouldn't
about.
try and sell me. I would try and get me intrigued. I think people often react negatively to the awareness that they're being pitched. in the sense of the customer pitch. In this case, I felt like you were going to hand out your business cards and ask for business, and that turns me off. Where I'd be turned on by the notion that the healthcare selection process is confusing. But there are algorithmic ways to match you to the policies
Right.
that mitigate risk.
And the next thing that goes with that is here's why the big boys aren't doing it, because they're fat and happy and they're exploiting your, taking too much off the top.
And this
we
is
don't
where
do
you
that.
This is a huge problem, though, for you, because you've got 30 years of legacy.
Yeah.
So if you were 30 days old, you could say the big boys are missing the big picture
Yeah.
of need. I think this is what you need. You need to know how to mitigate your explicit risk factors without spending 500 hours of research time. Now you're saying, big boys are backing us, we're 30 years in the market, but you don't know who we are, but we solve all your problems. I figured, no, you're trying to sell me something.
So we're not actual lawyers, and none of our advice is strictly for.
Mine is
Have to change your
useless.
business model. More feedback for Nate, please. What was that like, Kelly?
I found myself wondering, are you trying to get a certain type of customer? Like, for example, like if you think of most working Americans, you're kind of tied to what your employer offers for insurance, or maybe you think you are. So if you're trying to get, a sort of population at large to buy into this, I would want to say something about that, like the benefits of choosing this independently over what your employer might have.
And if I could just, you're doing like a covered CA type of thing. Is that your model?
It's with healthcare right now, that's kind of the basis of it, but that's not like the, I guess with healthcare right now, that's kind of the anchor, but depending on how healthcare changes, it's not based on health insurance.
One, two more? Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the content, I want to talk about how you present.
Go for it.
Sometimes we practice our speech a lot that we try to use the same word and same structure every time. And it's happened that when we are trying to deliver the same thing, if we miss a word or sentence, we just black out and we don't know how to continue that. So practicing is good, but memorizing a speech is the worst thing that you can do to yourself. Because if you miss a word or sentence, you don't know how to continue. So practice it, but never try to memorize it.
Good advice, and sometimes practice by starting in the middle, or pretending you forgot, something like that. Yeah.
So very quick one, we all feel when we are speaking that silence is going to kill our audience, but that's not the case. So if you forget something, take your time to recollect it.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah, Joseph.
I thought you had a good comeback even after forgetting it in the middle. But if you have like 30 years of existence, I'd probably say more about the number of users you have, just to build more credibility on that.
Yeah, we have millions of satisfied customers.
Yeah.
Something like that. If you're going to go with that old traditional style.
Yes.
Patricia.
For me, I wanted to know what the benefits were of your particular program for me, and you gave us the big view. So if you could choose one person and talk about how it benefited somebody, that would be good.
Thanks very much. Find out if there is such a person still out there. Okay, then I'm going to go. Yep.
Is there a sign up or?
There's a sign. So this is a feature of our Toastmaster Club. So if you're an actual member of the Toastmaster Club, which is different than the meetup, then you would be on this initial list. So it happens fairly often that we have slots for guests, but it looks like today might not be one of those, because I know I have at least 2 more members who want to speak. And which one of you guys would like to go first?
Sure, I can go first.
All right.
You want to? Somebody want to?
So Joseph runs the video.
Yeah.
Will goes next.
Yeah, I'll start right here.
First, we're going to streamline more because we gave preference to the pre-signers. All right. 2 minutes, my friend. Tell us what you got.
Thank you. So as business owners, we all have challenges in our business. We all the way from growing our team to growing our customer base. And currently, right now, I found that there's one element that can help dramatically in increasing the level of performance in both areas. That's education. It all starts with education. And currently, right now, with other learning management systems out there, they are usually only for delivering content in an organized way with group collaboration tools, which is pretty much a glorified YouTube. So what I would like to ask you how would you like to have not only a learning management system, but something that can actually is designed to grow and amplify your business with online tracking tools, with a mentorship-based education system, and with progress reports that help you reach out to your community and a whole entire marketing platform designed for that as well. That's why I created Amplified Education. With Amplified Education, we deliver results, and we are committed to that. That is why the #1 PR training firm in the country trusts Amplified Education. That is why the #2 stock exchange in the world trusts Amplified Education to deliver them results with customer support that they can trust. Furthermore, we use a mentorship-based education system, which we spent years putting research into. Why is this important? Because out of the Fortune 500 companies, over half of them actually have a mentorship or coaching-based system to train their top executives because they have billions of dollars riding on the importance of their performance. Now, if you would like to have that level of performance in your business, then please contact me because I could deliver that for you for just $100 a month. So amplify your business with Amplified Education. Thank you.
You were speeding along really fast, my friend. You were speeding along, and you were going into details upon details and stacking some more details under that, and then you did that. You did that thing that I tease. I sometimes call the detailed data spiral. It is when you keep adding qualifiers and deeper details while your listeners are still trying to understand what the big picture is. So that probably comes from having so many ideas at the same time in your head and not getting a chance to practice as much. Yeah, so there. Cut to do this moment. But we're friends, so we do this. We're friends.
And it was a hybrid pitch. It didn't start out as a customer pitch, but it rapidly transmuted into one. And that kind of confused and made everything murky. Once you went into, these customers trust us, you'd gone fully off the reservation in terms of an investor pitch or concept pitch. And that was confusing. Your stage presence is good. There's no question you're comfortable up here compared to people that haven't done it a lot. Okay, you appear to be, fake it well. But I really still don't know what you do. I couldn't frame it around anything. Is it a mentoring program? Is it online education? I don't get a firm sense of product. I get a firm sense that you may have traction, which is great. But I just feel you're trying to sell me something and I don't know what it is. Where I wish you had sold me on the fact you're doing something cool by showing me verbally what it is that you do.
Thank you. We needed to go a little more slowly before we arrived at it all starts with education. That's why I created this system. And at that point, you know, we've hit a couple bumps and half of us are off the bus.
And that system is a very dangerous thing to say.
And the size of the leaps you're making with the qualification. And then you come out with a, you know, there's a comparison to YouTube and growth and more lists of things. So I just was like, what the heck?
Yeah, we do this. Start with that. Just to let everyone get context. When you're sitting behind the other side of the equation, when you're listening and trying to filter companies for value, you just want to hear first, what is it you do? I want to know if I care about what you do, and then if I do, I'll listen to everything else. Think about it from the other side of the audience. Think about it from the people listening to you and give them what they want.
So we could potentially, so as a mock-up of this, it would be a series of assertions, you know, to prove a proposition, which is businesses live and die by the quality of their employees, by how well they understand the mission, how well they can solve problems, how well they can satisfy customers. Well, what's key to all those processes? It's the education of those employees. So that everyone's working, you know, in the same team, everyone understands the priorities and the options and so forth, and they can deliver consistent quality. We are the firm that, in the internet age, whatever buzzword you want to say, can deliver the kind of training that makes your business fly because your team will excel.
And
See, I didn't go anywhere. I just kept elaborating the same thing, and you can do that.
I can. You're right.
So there you go.
Yes.
Has that been useful?
Yeah,
I hope.
hopefully it
Thank
is,
you.
yes.
Feedback? Well, yeah.
Hopefully to other people as well,
So,
too.
When you gave this broad concept and then you said, I built Amplified, and then second sentence you started with, you know, we were doing all these things. So I just got confused that you are the only guy who's doing everything, or you're going to do that.
Some minor cleanups. Yeah, we all have those. We all have those.
So that's
inconsistencies,
where,
yeah.
you know, I just got disconnected at that point.
So we have a very smart guy who hasn't shared anything, Kevin.
The moment you say you work with the, maybe I heard it wrong, but you say the number one company and then the number two stock exchange. My eyes go wide open, but on the other side, I'm thinking, if they are that big, can you just tell me the name of what company and the stock exchange? To just, don't need me guessing work, just tell me who they are, and I know. But then I'm also confused that, huh?
I'm not allowed to say it right now, though, so.
Oh, okay.
So I should have probably said that.
Then maybe
on
you
the pitch.
you
I
can
should've
mention
said-
that to
I
keep
can't
a
say the
secret,
name, but
that so you don't get me
Yeah,
guessing.
so often when people can't say the name, they give enough evidence that most of the audience thinks they've guessed correctly.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't.
You can
But
figure
the
it out.
audience
You're
has a
probably
satisfying
similar,
feeling
so.
of solving the mystery.
And also, there's a very big difference if you're pitching to customers versus investors.
Yeah.
Customers, you can say the largest PR firm. Investors are going to figure you get $100 of revenue, anyone can get a customer from anywhere.
Yeah.
So you've got to give the revenue numbers if it's investor side.
Yeah.
And you can do what I would argue is fluff if it's the customer side.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you, Will.
Right, please, come on up.
Good job.
You want an intro or just going to?
New company called Bonvera.
Bonvera, Bud.
Good afternoon, Ayers, and I represent a brand new company called Bonvera. It's so new it hasn't even launched yet. It will be launching in February 15th. Let me ask you a couple quick questions. How many of you buy from Amazon? Okay. How many of you get paid by Amazon from buying from them? Okay. Now, how many of you want to be taxi drivers? Okay. How many of you heard of Uber? Okay. Uber took a job which nobody wants and turned it into something that people want to do, where they can make money. Bonvera is a brand new company where we've taken two concepts, the Amazon concept, buy whatever you want online, get paid for it, and turn it into a business that anybody can afford. I just recently signed up for Uber and found out I had a business within 2 minutes. Signed up, boom, ready to go. Okay, that is probably the best thing in the world because number one, I didn't have a very big investment and I could work on my own time. Our goal is to provide average people like yourselves who are struggling, who need to make extra money, or just want to save money. The concept is very simple. We're combining Amazon products, which means you can buy whatever you want and get paid for it. It's practically recession-proof. Now, for those of you who have families, how many of you have small children? Okay, if times are tough, let's say, are they still in diapers?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have small children and times are tough, would you still buy diapers?
Yes.
Of course you would. Now, how about if you got paid every time you bought diapers? How about if you got paid every time you drank water? Okay? We've negotiated with a lot of the manufacturers and distributors that the distributors wanted to be part of our business, that they cut their profit margins so that we could still offer the same low price to everyone. So, the simplest business to join. We're looking for customers and for people who want to find out a little bit more. My name is Bud Ayers, and hopefully you can see me at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
All right. Nice name. What's the name mean?
The name, it's a combination of bon meaning good and veritas, which meant faith. I think it's Italian
So
or
it's
something.
good and true at the same time. 'Cause
Yes.
I have my questions about how do people pay me for buying things.
This is the problem. It's sort of invalidated on the surface. I know you're doing some type of shared affiliate model.
Mhm.
That's what it is. And what struck me from the sort of Silicon Valley side of it is, all right, I know the pitch isn't authentic. It's very well delivered, and you connect with the audience wonderfully. But you're not paying people to buy things. You're giving them a discount.
No.
So if I buy
So-
diapers, I'm going to make money on buying diapers? Instead of paying $20, how much are diapers? Instead of paying $20 for diapers, okay, $40. Instead of paying $40 for diapers, I'm going to get paid $50 for buying the diapers.
No, not quite.
Okay, how much am I going to make for buying diapers?
That one I can't reveal yet because the company hasn't launched.
Okay, the difficulty is there has to be plausibility. This suspension of disbelief doesn't work well in at least the venture scene. So I know I can't buy whatever product I want on Amazon and make money for having buy it because I'll buy everything on Amazon right now. Doesn't make sense. So this false ability lost me.
Okay. May I ask, so there's this rather famous, possibly overvalued startup called Jet.com. Are they doing something similar? Because there's some way of ganging up purchases and getting huge discounts.
No, they're very, very similar. The only difference is we have The affiliate thing is a little bit different in the explanation.
So, you are Jet done right.
Jet done right,
Okay,
correct.
because
There
if
we
there's
go.
a gorilla in the room, make friends with it. Okay?
Exactly.
But I don't like the Uber example because it's totally disconnected from what you do. So you get people excited about Uber in a way, even though Uber has its own problems in terms
Right
of
now.
satisfaction. But you're not doing that. You're not giving people a way to earn money by buying products. And you've got to be extraordinarily authentic in your pitch. Because as soon as you pierce that credibility, you're gone. You're dead.
Okay, so that's fair. However, I just want to say that I like the idea conceptually of linking up Amazon and Uber and creating something new. That had me intrigued. So I wanted to
Yes.
hear more, definitely.
Okay.
And then as I heard more, it didn't quite come together.
Got it.
So I think we have some comments for folks in the room. Oh, we got 2 minutes. So our comment is that I want to thank Steve for helping me out. You know,
Pleasure.
But also, of course, thank you and thank everyone for their contributions, and especially the very brave people who came up and went through this gauntlet. And I hope it's actually useful to you and that you're going to keep refining and keep going on what you want to build. And our president would have a few words. Randy, thank you so much.
Big round of applause for Roy Terry.